Welcome to IRA's online classes. Today we'll go for reading comprehension. We have been discussing grammar questions. Today we'll start with the reading comprehension part. That means the verbal logic part. Now, the topic reading comprehension comes under verbal logic. Reading comprehension, parajumbles, closed test, all these come under verbal logic. Now, for verbal logic questions, there are no rules, but there are many strategies or techniques. There are many strategies or techniques to approach every verbal logic question. There's parajumbles, reading comprehension, closed test, fill in the blanks. We have some strategies to follow. So we'll go for those strategies first, the concepts to approach reading comprehension, and then we'll try solving the questions based only on those strategies. Now, in the case of reading comprehension, if it is a long passage or a short passage, the length of the passage, in fact, it doesn't matter, because the way of approach remains the same. Now, when you go for a question on reading comprehension, every time I tell you, whenever you go for a verbal question, the two things that need to be focused on are, one is understanding the context and the other one is identifying the charge. These are the two things that need to be focused on while approaching every type of verbal question. Understanding the context means the meaning of each and every sentence or each and every idea must be understood best. That is understanding the context. Identifying the charge in the sense whether a question or an idea carries a positive charge or a negative charge. If you feel that the question is positively charged, the answer must also be positively charged. So all the negative options can be eliminated. Similarly, if you feel that the question is negatively charged, the answer must also be negatively charged. So all the positive options can be eliminated. So these are two things that need to be focused on while approaching every type of verbal question. I have already told you about the concept of indicators. We have discussed it. The three kinds of indicators: contrast, support and cause and effect. A contrast indicator connects one positive idea and one negative idea. A support indicator connects either two positive ideas or two negative ideas. A cause and effect indicator connects a reason and a result. It's always positive reason, positive result, negative reason, negative result. I told you the concept of indicators will surely help us a lot while approaching all types of verbal questions. We have already thought about the application of indicators in the case of grammar questions. We have done questions based on indicators. Now we'll think about the application of this concept while approaching verbal logic questions as we have moved on to the verbal logic part now. Never miss any indicator while reading. Indicators deserve utmost importance while reading. The concepts we discuss in the grammar part will surely help us in the case of verbal logic questions. You'll understand that. I told you about double negation. When two negative terms come together, the meaning becomes positive. Minus into minus is plus. I told you about redundancy. Redundancy means repetition. In a sentence, there should not be more than one word conveying the same meaning. If it is there, it becomes error with redundancy. All these will surely help us in the case of verbal logic questions. Now, as you know, the concept of indicators is regarding identifying the charge of every idea in a sentence. We have gone for many examples, we have gone for exercises as well. An idea can be negatively charged as well as positively charged. The charge of an idea depends on the context in which the idea is. So based on the context, with the help of indicators, you must be able to identify the charge of every idea in a sentence. We'll go for some concepts regarding understanding the context, and then we'll think about the application part, the exercise part. So these concepts are regarding context, understanding the context. Now these words, all, always, never, everyone, everybody, every time, everyone, everywhere, someone, somebody, something, sometime, somewhere, anyone, anybody, anything, anytime, anywhere, no one, nobody, nothing, no time, nowhere, whatever, wherever, whenever, whoever, whomever. You need to know these words by heart. Now these words are termed as general words. Now whenever you come across any of these words in a sentence, conclude that it is a general statement. That means these words tell us that a sentence is general. Now the rule is this: from a specific statement, we cannot go for a general conclusion. This is the rule. From a specific statement, we cannot go for a general conclusion. So based on the words we discuss, or based on the words in a statement, you must be able to identify whether that statement is general or specific. These words tell us that a statement is general. And the rule is, as I said, from a specific statement, we cannot go for a general conclusion. And if I go for a sentence like, I'll give you some examples. And if I say, Ram got the first rank because he studied well. Because is a cause and effect indicator, must always connect a positive reason and a positive result, or negative reason and a negative result. Ram got the first rank because he studied well. The reason here is he studied well, positive. The result here is he got the first rank, positive. So positive reason, positive result. Ram got the first rank because he studied well. I say that this is a very specific statement because none of these words is there in the statement. One reason. The other reason is I'm talking about one particular person, Ram. As I'm talking about one particular person, becomes a very specific statement. Now from this statement, can you draw a conclusion like all those who... From that statement, can you draw a conclusion like all those who study well will get the first rank? No. That becomes a very general conclusion. Simple reason is all is a general word. I told you from a specific statement, we cannot go for a general conclusion. Or from the same statement, Ram got the first rank because he studied well. From this sentence, can you draw a conclusion like only those who study well will get the first rank? No. Now in fact, it is not necessary to study well to get the first rank. If you copy also get the first rank. So such a conclusion cannot be drawn. To be very precise, if the word only is there in the option, the word only must be there in that part of the passage. Now what I mean is this, in the case of reading comprehension, I'll come back to it. You have been doing reading comprehension exercise in school life itself. Will you read the passage first or questions first? Now I always get the reply that we'll read the questions first and then move on to the passage. You can go for that method, reading the questions first and moving on to the passage, then moving on to the passage. But that is termed as a last minute approach. Means we have just 2 or 3 minutes left. And if you have a whole passage to be completed, you can go for that method. Questions first and then the passage. But if you go for that method, you can never be sure that the answers you mark are the exact ones. I'll tell you why. So better thing is, read the passage first and then move on to the options. Right? Now, never try to understand the whole passage. Now, if I ask you how many times you read a passage, you may read it once, twice or thrice. There's no rule as to how many times we should read a passage. It is reading until understanding. But as far as our test is concerned, we have a time limit. We have to complete the test within the time limit. But the thing is, most of us or some of us get tense when we are not able to understand the whole passage. What I say is very simple. Never try to understand the whole passage. And if you try to understand the whole passage, it becomes a waste of time. Now I say waste of time, utter waste of time, because the questions that follow the passage will not be based on all the details given there in the passage. So if you try to understand the whole passage, it's an utter waste of time. Go through the passage very quickly or very lightly, giving importance only to the words we discuss. Now even if you go through the passage lightly, you will be able to understand what the passage is about. It's about history, geography, literature, politics, that you will be able to understand. That is the only thing we have to care about while reading the whole passage, not the understanding of the whole passage. Then move on to the questions. Every question will be dealing with a particular topic. Understand the topic of the question, go back to the exact part of the passage where the topic of the question is mentioned. One topic will be mentioned only in one part. One topic will not be mentioned in more than one part, undoubtedly. So understand the topic of the question. As I said, go back to the exact part of that passage where the topic is mentioned and focus only on that part of the passage. You forget about the rest of the passage. Compare only that part of the passage with the options. That means the option that we select as the answer to that question must be given there in that part of the passage. If you find any word or any detail in any option not given there in that particular part, without thinking much, eliminate that option. So all the concepts we discuss must be applied only onto these two. That part of the passage where the topic is mentioned enter the options, that's it, forget about the rest of the passage. Now come back to this concept, the concept regarding only. As I said, Ram got the first rank because he studied well. From this statement, we cannot draw a conclusion like only those who study well will get the first rank. Because if the word only is there in the option, the word only must be there in that part of the passage where the topic of the question is mentioned. So if you find any option containing the word only, just see where the word only is given there in that part. If you don't find the word only there, without thinking much, eliminate that option. Now what I mean to say is this. If what is there in the option is general, what is there in that part of the passage must also be general. If not, eliminate. Similarly, if what is there in the option is specific, what is there in that part of the passage must also be specific. If not, eliminate. It can never be general and specific or specific and general. It must always be general and general or specific and specific. Always. I'll give you some examples. Right? Now, only one sentence in the passage will talk about one option. So your task is understand the meaning and the charge, the context and the charge. Understand the meaning and the charge of the option and the meaning and the charge of the sentence that talks about the option. The meaning and the charge of an option must be the same as the meaning and the charge of the sentence that talks about the option. Now we can select an option only if these two are satisfied. Only if the meaning and the charge are satisfied, we can select an option, or else just eliminate it. If the meaning is satisfied, but if the charge is satisfied, but if the meaning is not, without thinking much, eliminate that option. So meaning and the charge, the context and the charge must be satisfied for us to go for an option. I'll give some examples. Now come to these words. This, that, these, those. We have discussed these words in pronouns, in detail in fact. We have gone for it in detail. This, that, these, those are termed as demonstrative pronouns. Now they're called demonstrative pronouns because we use these pronouns only when we demonstrate something, refer to something in specific, like this boy, these boys, that boy, those boys, etc. So demonstrative pronouns are taken as specific. Demonstrative pronouns are taken as specific. I'll give an example before that. There are three articles in English. We'll discuss articles in the grammar part. There are three articles in English: an, and the. And an are termed as indefinite articles, whereas the is called the definite article. In is a negative prefix meaning not. So if I say indefinite, that means not definite. And an are called indefinite articles because we don't use and an to refer to a specific person or a specific object. That's why they're termed as indefinite articles. That means and an, indefinite articles are taken as general. And an, indefinite articles taken as general. The is called the definite article because we use the to refer to a particular person or a particular object. That means the definite article is taken as specific. And an are taken as general, the is taken as specific. If I go for a sentence like, I got the first rank this time because I studied well. I got the first rank this time because I studied well. General statement or specific statement? I say specific statement because of three reasons. We have to start from the beginning, right? From the very beginning of the statement. One is I. I'm talking about one particular person, myself, I. Then the first rank. The is the definite article taken as specific. Then this time, this is a demonstrative pronoun taken as specific. So because of three reasons, I can say it is a very specific statement. I, the first rank, this time. Now from this sentence, can you draw a conclusion like, every time I study well, I get the first rank? No. That becomes a very general conclusion. Simple reason is, every time is a general word. As I told you, from a specific statement, we cannot go for a general conclusion. Or from the same statement, can you draw a conclusion like, always I study well, I get the first rank? No. That also becomes a general statement because always is also a general word. Come to the same statement once again. I got the first rank this time because I studied well. How many entities are there in this sentence? Entities means nouns or pronouns. How many are there? 3 are there. One is I. I is a pronoun. Then the first rank. Rank is a noun. Then this time. There are 3 entities in this statement. I, the first rank, this time. I told you only one sentence in the option. Only one sentence in the passage will talk about one option, undoubtedly. So your task is compare the option only with the sentence that talks about the option. That's it. You forget about the rest of the passage. There are 3 entities here. I, the first rank, this time. This is a sentence given in the passage. And as you know, I is specific. The first rank is specific. This time is also specific. So there are 3 entities in the sentence in the passage, and all the 3 entities are specific. The option I give is, every time I study well, I get the first rank. In the option also we have 3 entities. One is every time. Then I study well, I get the first rank. There are 3 entities in the sentence in the passage. There are 3 entities in the option. Every time is general, I is specific, the first rank is specific. Now we have 3 entities in the sentence in the passage, we have 3 entities in the option. I is specific, here also it is specific. Specific and specific go together. The first rank is specific, here also it is the first rank, specific. Specific and specific go together. So 2 entities in the option and the passage match. We have one more entity left. This time is specific, every time is general. I gave the list of general words. So 2 entities match, 1 entity does not match. Now when at least one of the entities in the option and the passage does not match, without thinking much, eliminate that option. I repeat, when at least one of the entities in the option and the passage does not match, eliminate that option. Now here 2 entities match, 1 entity does not match, so without thinking much, you eliminate this option. Now as I told you earlier, the meaning of the option must be the same as the meaning of the sentence that talks about the option. The meaning will remain the same only if all the entities match. Only if all the entities match, the meaning remains the same. So if at least one of the entities does not match, eliminate that option. Clear? I'll give some examples anyway. Now come to these words. What, where, when, who, whom. These words are taken as specific. What is used to refer to a specific object. Where is used to refer to a specific place. When, specific time. Who and whom, specific persons. So what, where, when, who and whom are taken as specific. Whenever is added to them, they become general. That means whatever is general, wherever, whenever, whoever, whomever, all these are general. So what, where, when, who, whom are specific. Whenever is added to them, they become general. If I go for a statement like, if I say, he appreciated me for what I had done. He appreciated me for what I had done. General or specific? I say specific because of 3 reasons. One is he, specific person. Then me or I, specific person. Then what I had done. What refers to the exact thing that I had done. So because of 3 reasons, I can say it is a very specific statement. I, he, me or I, what. From this statement, can you draw a conclusion like, he will appreciate me for whatever I do? No. What and that becomes general because whatever is a general word. What and whatever will not go together. Now here also we have 3 entities. He, me or I, then whatever. 2 entities match, 1 entity does not match, eliminate it. What if I say, he has appreciated me. That's it. He has appreciated me, general or specific? None of these general words is there in the statement. Then he, specific, me, specific. So he has appreciated me becomes a very specific statement. From this, can you go for a conclusion like everybody has appreciated me? No. That becomes a general statement. Simple reason is everybody is a general. So what I mean to say is, as I told you, if what is there in the option is general, what is there in that part of the passage where the topic of the question is mentioned, we consider only about that part, forget about the rest I said. So if what is there in the option is general, what is there in that part of the passage must also be general. If what is there in the option is specific, what is there in that part of the passage must also be specific. Clear? So this is a concept of general and specific. I'll give you some examples. Come to this sentence. You take it as a logical reasoning question as well. In your reasoning part, you will have only two questions on verbal reasoning. A statement conclusion and statement assumption. To deal with those two verbal reasoning questions in a reasoning paper, you can apply the same concepts. No change in the concepts. Whatever we discuss in reading comprehension can be applied to crack the two verbal reasoning questions in your reasoning paper. You can take it as a logical reasoning question, a verbal reasoning question. Or, this is a part of the passage where the topic of the question is mentioned. So we need to compare only this part with the options. Fine, I'll just read it. Beauty is God's gift, and everyone and everything has beauty, full stop, but not everyone identifies it. So this is a part of the passage that talks about the topic of the question. Compare only this part with the options, forget about the rest of the passage as it. So my question is, based only on this part, which option? That's my question. Option 1 says, many identify beauty. Option 2 says, some identify beauty. Option 3 says, beauty is present everywhere. Option 4 says, only 2 and 3. You will have only 4 options, but I am giving one more option. None of these. Option 5. Come to the question once again. The statement given as a question. Never miss any indicator while reading. In this statement, we have two indicators. And is a support indicator, but is a contrast indicator. A support indicator must always connect either two positive ideas or two negative ideas. A contrast indicator must always connect one positive idea and one negative idea. The idea before and is beauty is God's gift, positive. So but is a and is a support indicator. The idea before and is positive. So the idea after and must also be positive. And everyone and everything has beauty must also be positive. But, contrast indicator. The idea before but is positive, so idea afterward must be negative. But not everyone identifies it must be negative. Clear? So we have three ideas in this sentence. The first idea, the second idea, and the third idea. So we have three ideas in this sentence connected by and but. The first two ideas are positive, the third idea is negative. Beauty is God's gift and everyone and everything has beauty, but not everyone identifies it. It is a pronoun. We have discussed a concept called pronoun antecedent. Anti means before. Pronoun antecedent means every pronoun must refer to a noun before it. A singular pronoun can refer only to a singular noun, and a plural pronoun can refer only to a plural noun. That is a concept of pronoun antecedent. Yet is a singular pronoun referring to which noun here? But not everyone identifies it. Yet refers to beauty. Beauty is uncountable. There's nothing like one beauty, two beauties. Beauty is uncountable. Uncountable nouns always carry a singular verb and a singular pronoun. So yet refers to beauty here. Fine. Now come to the options. Understand the question properly before moving on to the options. The first option, many identify beauty. This option is positively judged. There's no negative word here. Exactly which idea in this sentence talks about this option? The third idea. Identifying beauty is talked about in the third idea. So to know whether this option is correct or not, we need to compare it only with the third idea. Forget about the first idea and the second idea. The third idea talks about this option. So to know whether it is right, correct or wrong must be considered or eliminated. We should compare it only with the third idea. According to the sentence, the third idea is negatively charged. This option is positively charged. Negative and positive will not go together. From a negative statement, we cannot go for a positive conclusion. Based on that, option 1 is eliminated. Come to the second option. Some identify beauty. This option is also positively charged. There's no negative term here. Exactly which idea talks about this option? The third idea. Identifying beauty is talked about in the third idea. The same logic, to know whether it is right or wrong, compare it only with the third idea. According to the sentence, the third idea is negatively charged. This option is positively charged. Negative and positive will not go together. Option 2 is eliminated. Option 4 is also eliminated. Now here, I told you this earlier as well by discussing indicators. Not everyone identifies beauty. Not everyone does not mean some. Not everyone means no one. Now even though you don't know the meaning of not everyone, you can eliminate the option based on the charge. Negative and positive will not go together. Now come to option 3. Beauty is present everywhere. Option 3 is positively charged. Exactly which idea in the sentence talks about option 3? The second idea. Everyone and everything has beauty. So to know whether option 3 is correct or not, we need to compare it only with the second idea. Forget about the first idea and the third idea. According to the sentence, the second idea is positively charged. Option 3 is also positively charged. Positive and positive go together. The charge is fine. Now we need to focus on the context and the charge. The meaning and the charge. We can, as I told you earlier as well, twice or thrice, we can select an option only if these two are satisfied. Only if the meaning and the charge are satisfied, we can select an option. Option 3 is positively charged. Option 3 is talked about in the second idea. The second idea is also positively charged. Positive and positive go together. So charge is completely fine. Now we need to think about the context, the meaning. Beauty is present everywhere. Everywhere is a general word. I gave in the list of general words. So option 3 is general. What we discussed, if what is there in the option is general, what is there in that part of the passage must also be general. Now come to option 2, the second idea once again in the sentence. Everyone and everything has beauty. Everyone is general. I gave in the list of general words. Everything is also general. General and general go together. Context is fine. Positive and positive go together. Charge is fine. The answer must be option 3. Now everyone and everything has beauty means what? You have beauty, I have beauty, fan has beauty, light has beauty, your dress, my dress, windows, doors, floor, chair, my watch, your watch. That means beauty is present everywhere. Don't think too much, just go according to the concepts. So the answer must be option C. Option 3, meaning is fine, the meaning is fine, the charge is also fine, the answer must be 3. Never go for any kind of imagination or general knowledge. Focus only on the details given there in that part of the passage that talks about the topic of the question. Compare only that part with the options. Clear? Right. As I told you earlier, as I said many times, only one sentence in the passage will talk about one option. So we need to compare an option only with a sentence that talks about it. And we can identify whether an option is general or specific only when we compare the option with the sentence that talks about it. Right? Come to the sentence now. You take it as a logical reasoning question as well. 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. This is a sentence given in the passage. Take it as a logical reasoning question as well. That's what I said. So based only on this sentence, which option? I gave you 8 options in fact. In the case of at the time of examination, only 4 options will be there. But I gave you 8 options to show you how we eliminate options. There may be only a slight difference between the meaning of the option and the meaning of a sentence in the passage. You must be able to identify the slight differences, the nuances. Right. I'll read the sentence once again. 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. Is this sentence grammatically correct? Based on all the concepts we have discussed till date, we'll see whether it is grammatically correct or not. 40 starting from the very beginning. 40% is a determiner, telling us about a quantity of a noun. Determiners don't deserve importance, neglect them. Forget about 40%. What is a verb here? Suffer. Suffer is a verb here. How many nouns are there before the verb? Two nouns. One is people and the other one is poverty line. We have two nouns before the verb. Now which rule? Eliminating the middleman. Eliminate the noun that comes in the middle of the sentence. The noun that comes in the middle of the sentence is poverty line. So eliminate poverty line. Now we have only one noun left, that is people, plural. So subject is plural. The verb must also be plural. Subject verb agreement. The verb here is suffer, plural, because no S, no ES, no IS. That is completely fine. Daily is a word telling us about a regularly happening action. We discussed in the topic tenses. If it is a regularly happening action, the sentence must be in the simple present tense. So the word daily talks about regularly happening action. So this sentence must be in the simple present tense. And simple present tense structure is subject plus V1. The subject here is people, the verb here is V1, and subject plus V1 is simple present. That rule is also completely fine. So determiner rule is fine, subject verb agreement is fine, eliminating the middleman is fine, tenses rule is fine. All these rules are completely fine. So we thought about all the rules in all the topics. This sentence is grammatically correct. So as I told you, only if you think about all the rules and all the concepts, you can get the answer. We'll go for many questions like these once we complete the basics, the rules and the exercise of individual topics. In the case of reading comprehension, all the questions given to us will be grammatically correct, no doubt in that. Now, as I said, based only on this sentence, which option? I'll read the sentence once again. 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. Come to option 1. Poverty is a curse. Curse means like sharper. Now my question is, does the sentence given as a question talk about poverty? I told you, I repeat, we can understand whether an option is general or specific only when we compare the option with the sentence that talks about it. Poverty is a curse. The sentence given as a question doesn't talk about poverty. The sentence given as a question talks about poverty line. Right? Now decide poverty line. Which is general, which is specific? Poverty becomes general, poverty line becomes specific. General and specific will not go together. Option 1 is eliminated. Option 1 is eliminated. All of the above is eliminated. Only 1 and 2 is eliminated. Only 1 and 3 is eliminated. So based on that, 4 options are eliminated. 1 is gone, all of the above gone, 1 and 2 gone, 1 and 3 gone. Now come to the second one. People below the poverty line suffer daily. People means all people. So people means all people. So people below the poverty line suffer daily. All people is general. So option 2 is general. Come to the statement. 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. According to option 2, people. All people below the poverty line suffer daily. Let's account to the sentence given as a passage. 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. Now decide. People, 40% of people, which is general, which is specific. People becomes general. 40% of people becomes specific. General and specific will not go together. Option 2 is eliminated. 2 and 3 is also eliminated. Now we have only 2 options left. 3 and none of this. Now come to 3. 40% of people are below the poverty line. The sentence given as a passage says, given as a question says, 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. Now 40% of people below the poverty line suffer daily. 40% of the people below the poverty line suffer daily. 40% of the people below the poverty line means, according to the question, from the people below the poverty line, we are taking 40%. 40% of the people below the poverty line means, from the people below the poverty line, we are taking 40%. Option 3 says, 40% of people are below the poverty line. 40% of people means, according to option 3, from people we are taking 40%. According to the question, from the people below the poverty line, we are taking 40%. Whereas according to option 3, from people we are taking 40%. Now when you compare these two, which is general, which is specific? 40% of people below the poverty line becomes specific. 40% of people becomes general. General and specific will not go together. Now option 3 is also eliminated. The answer must be option 8. None of these. Clear? We have selected the eliminated options based only on the concepts we discussed. General and specific. Come to the next one. No general knowledge, no imagination. Focus only on what is given there in the question. This is the part of the passage, and based only on this part, which options? India and Pakistan are democratic countries, and both have democratically elected their prime ministers. Both the prime ministers want peace. This is the part of the passage. Option A, India and Pakistan don't want to follow the path of conflict. Neither India and Pakistan are neighboring countries. Option 3 says both 1 and 2. D says neither 1 nor 2. Come to the passage once again. India and Pakistan are democratic countries and both have democratically elected their prime ministers. Both the prime ministers want peace. This part of the passage is positively judged. So option that we go for as the answer must also be positively judged. Come to the first option. India and Pakistan don't want to follow the path of conflict is positive because of double negation. Don't want is negative. The path of conflict is also negative. Two negative terms coming together, double negation becomes positive. We cannot miss any concept in fact. India and Pakistan don't want to follow the path of conflict means India and Pakistan want peace. Leave it there. I'll come back to it. Come to option 2. India and Pakistan are neighboring countries. Yes, we know that, but that's not given there in the question. I said no imagination, no general knowledge. According to the question, they're not neighboring countries. They are democratic countries. No imagination or no general knowledge. Based on that, 2 is gone, 3 is also gone. Now we have only 2 options left, 1 and 4. So India and Pakistan, come to 1. India and Pakistan don't want to follow the path of conflict means India and Pakistan want peace. Now exactly which sentence in the passage talks about this option? The second sentence. Both the prime ministers, only 2 sentences are here, so we cannot say the last sentence. We can use the word last only when there are more than 2. Every sentence ends with a full stop. This is the first sentence. The first sentence ends here. The second sentence ends here. Only 2 sentences are here. Both the prime ministers want peace. This is a sentence that talks about the second option. Both the prime ministers want peace means these 2 individuals want peace. Option 1 says India and Pakistan want peace. India means what? The whole country, the people of India, Indians. Pakistan also means the whole country, the people of Pakistan, Pakistanis. Now when you compare option 1 with the sentence of the passage, which is general, which is specific, option 1 becomes general. What is there in the paragraph becomes specific. General and specific will not go together. 1 is also eliminated. The answer must be neither 1 nor 2. Now here, according to the paragraph, the prime ministers are democratically elected. That means elected by the people. Does it mean that the decisions taken by the prime minister be agreed to by all the people in the country? No. India is a democratic country. Modi is a prime minister. Does it mean the decisions taken by Modi will be agreed to by all the Indians? No. You can take the case of demonetization. It was disagreed to by many Indians. Anyway, we have the opposition party. They are also Indians. Their task is to oppose whatever Modi does. In fact, Modi is not elected by all the Indians. He is elected by the majority of Indians. So we can never go for the conclusion that the decisions taken by the Prime Minister will be agreed to by all the Indians. From a specific statement, we cannot go for a general conclusion. So option 1 is also eliminated. The answer must be D, neither one nor two. Clear? Come to the next one. Free and fair elections have been held in Afghanistan. The rebels means those who go against the government, those who oppose the government. The rebels could not stop them. Them is a pronoun, plural pronoun antecedent, so it can refer only to a plural noun. And them refers to free and fair elections. Elections becomes general, free and fair elections become specific. So them, according to the sentence, refers to free and fair elections. Them cannot refer to rebels. If it is the rebels could not stop themselves, then themselves refers to rebels. So here them refers to free and fair elections. The government must be complimented for it. Complimented means appreciated, right? Praised, congratulated. So what is talked about the government in this paragraph is positive. So any option that talks about the government must also be positive, undoubtedly. Come to option 1. The government has failed in handling the situation. What is talked about the government in option 1 is negative. What is talked about the government in the paragraph is positive. Negative and positive will not go together. So option 1 is eliminated. Come to option 2. The government has tackled. Tackled means handled, managed, dealt with. The government has tackled the problem with the rebels. Problem is negative. Tackling the problem, solving the problem is positive. So option 2 is positively charged. Positive and positive go together. The charge is fine. The problem is specific. In the paragraph also we are talking about a particular problem, specific. Specific and specific go together. The government has tackled the problem with the rebels. Can this meaning begin from this paragraph? Now, according to the paragraph, what is the problem with the rebels? They wanted to stop the free and fair elections. Were they able to do it? No. The government did not allow them to do it, and that is the reason why we say the government must be appreciated. So according to the paragraph, the rebels' problem is they want to stop the free and fair elections. Their problem was they wanted to stop the free and fair elections. They were not able to do it. They were not successful. The government did not allow them to become successful. And that's why we say the government must be appreciated. Now come to option 2 once again. The government has tackled the problem with the rebels. Yes? Yeah, that is why the government must be complimented, appreciated. The meaning is completely fine. Charge is also fine. Option 2 must be considered. Option 2 must be considered. Leave it. Come to option 3. Free and fair elections have been held. Exactly which sentence in the paragraph talks about this option? The first sentence, free and fair elections have been held in Afghanistan. So to know whether option 3 is correct or not, we need to compare it only with this sentence. According to the sentence in the passage, free and fair elections have been held in Afghanistan. Option 3 says free and fair elections have been held where? We don't know. According to the sentence of the passage, free and fair elections have been held in Afghanistan. Whereas according to option 3, we don't know where free and fair elections have been held. Now when you compare option 3 with the sentence of the passage, which is general, which is specific? Option 3 becomes general. The sentence in the passage becomes specific. General and specific will not go together. Option 3 is eliminated. So 4 is also gone. The answer must be option 2. The government has tackled the problem with the rebels. If I say, all the students at IRISE take the exam. All the students take the exam. The same meaning or completely different meanings? Completely different meanings. Which is general, which is specific? All the students at IRISE becomes specific. All the students becomes general. General and specific will not go together. The same is the case here. According to the paragraph, the question, all the free and fair elections have been held in Afghanistan. Thus, according to option 3, we don't know where free and fair elections have been held. General and specific will not go together, and the answer must be option 2. If you find difficulty with any statement, you go for a parallel statement, you can easily find it out. You can easily get it. Getting it? So this is a concept of general and specific. As I told you, if what is there in the option is general, what is there in that part of the passage must also be general. Similarly, if what is there in the option is specific, what is there in that part of the passage must also be specific.